and welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought series right here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why your black asses are here. Now today, I'm bringing y'all one of these old mamas series, because as y'all know, I've been watching a lot of this court stuff, and today we are exhibiting some white old mamas, but it's probably not what you think. And I'll say this before we begin: even old grandmamas have a tendency to be old mamas. So, with that being said, let's get at it. Well, all right, here we go. Now we're back in the Honorable Judge Mincy's court, and as you can see on the screen, it's full of mostly broads. There's only one dude who's a lawyer, and in the top left-hand corner, there's another dude sitting there as a defendant. But this courtroom this day, it is just full of women. So expect it to be highly unorganized periodically throughout this stream. But like I said, we are in the courtroom again of Judge Mincy, and we're in Fulton County once again. And I don't watch a lot of Judge Mincy's stuff. I guess because she's not there that much, because Judge Mincy is, I believe, a pro-hack, HAC judge. And I believe pro-hack means you are able to practice or able to be a judge in a jurisdiction where you're not necessarily licensed, but you are allowed to come in and be a judge, and cover for other judges, etc., etc. That probably explains why I don't see her that much, because I do believe she is a pro-hack judge. I do believe. I don't know. But that being said, we're in the court today, and it's the white woman's version today. And we're looking at a couple old mamas who are white, and they're sitting in here accused, of course, of misdemeanor crimes. Now, I want you to focus on the last row on the left-hand side. And this woman here, she's in here for some type of domestic violence that had to do with one of her kids. And as always, I will be stopping this periodically, for my commentary. So, without further delay, let's get at it. And as always, fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
This is 22 CR 8232Y. This is not for sure, and I don't want to mispronounce the name. We're just going to say last name is it Lee or Lai? L-I. You're charged with one count of simple battery, family violence. Offense date is December the 10th, 2022.
Okay, so the old white mama is in here on simple battery, family violence, but we continue.
Pre-trial.
I'm sorry, what position is this?
14.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, this person on the top row, second from the left, is the pretrial services person, right? This is the person who they go to, to find out the person's criminal history, their background, whether or not they had warrants, how many times they've been arrested, et cetera, et cetera. And usually when they come on, they come right in with it. This particular person who's working pretrial services today is obviously a bit confused and can't find the history on this particular defendant. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use. She's taken so long that the judge has completely turned away from the camera and started doing something else. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Does the state have this history? I can't find it for 14.
I'm showing.
Now, it's her job now to know this stuff. To say, this person's been arrested, this person had this charge in this year, this person has warrants, et cetera, et cetera. So now she has to defer to the Solicitor General, who is in the first square in the middle row to the left. She has to defer to her. Now, it's her job to know this stuff, but for some reason she doesn't. But we continue.
A 2005 theft by shoplifting arrest and a 2014 driving without valid license arrest.
So the old mama, her record isn't too bad. Shoplifting, she liked to steal, and she drove without a license. So her charges that she's had in the past are not that bad. But we continue.
So you just have those two priors?
Yes, Your Honor. Did you want me to go ahead with?
Yes. Go ahead and present.
And y'all need to go ahead and fire the lady who works at pretrial services as well. But we continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. On December 10th, 2022, Officer Maloney was dispatched to the incident location at 4430 Pine Walk Drive in Alpharetta around 10:40 p.m. Upon officer's arrival, they met with the defendant in this case, who had blood on her shirt. And she stated that the blood on her shirt was from her son, the victim in this case. He is a minor, 16 years of age, and his initials are LD. The defendant stated that she was taking her son's dog up to his room so that he could take the dog outside. The victim refused to let the defendant bring the dog into his room.
So he didn't want mom to bring the mutt in his room. Leave the dog out there, mama. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes, fair use.
And according to the defendant, her son pushed her, but then grabbed her in order to stop her from falling down the stairs. At that time, the two separated. The defendant then stated she went back up to her son's room, but at that time, his door was locked.
Now, I'm going to stop it here because, when it comes to white people, unlike most of us black people, especially when it comes to white sons, they don't deify mama. Yeah, they don't deify mama. If anything, they make it their business to defy mama. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
The defendant then kicked her son's bedroom door open, breaking the door frame and the door itself. And the victim stated that the defendant slapped him on the right side of his face.
Mama was mad. So she attacked. But we continue.
At that time, he attempted to grab her hands to prevent her from hitting him again, and that caused both of them to fall to the ground. The victim stated that during the fall is when he hit his nose on something and it caused it to bleed, and he was treated on the scene at that time. Due to this being a family violence incident between mother and son. We don't think that her slapping him was an appropriate form of discipline.
Uh-oh. Now the state is trying to tell people what type of discipline they should be doling out to their kids. Now, I kind of agree. You know, once a kid is like 16 years old, I think he's beyond the age of, you know, where you trying to spank him, whether it be across his face or across his ass. But I say again, white teenagers, they have a tendency not to deify their mothers the way us black folks do. I've seen when I was, you know, younger, I've seen little kids, man, who were 9 and 10, you know, they, shut up, mom, haul off and kick mom, and did all kinds of foolishness. So, mom is not God when it comes to white folks. Yeah, mom is not God. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
What we know about the cycle of violence, the state would argue that she does pose a risk of reoffending, especially while they are living in the same household. This incident did occur on December 10th. Today is December 12th, so about 2 days ago. The state would be requesting a $3,000 surety bond, stay away from the incident location.
Now they're telling her to stay away from the incident location. Now remember, she is the mother. She's the mother. All right. He's a minor child. So telling her to stay away from the location doesn't even make a whole hell of a lot of sense to me, because if she stays away from there, what the hell is the kid going to do? He's 16. It ain't like he's taking care of the place, right? But y'all have seen me bring these stories before. I believe the video was titled Criminal Trespass, Criminally Evicted, where people got into altercations with family members that lived together, and another judge told them that they could not go back to their house. Even though it was their house, their name was on the lease, they may have even owned the house, but they were not allowed to go back to their house as long as the person that they got in the altercation with still resided there. I don't know if y'all remember that, but this seems like one of those cases. She got into a confrontation, a physical confrontation with her son, slapped him after kicking his door open over the dog. He ended up bleeding. She ended up arrested. So the Solicitor General is requesting that she not be allowed back to her house. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
No contact with the victim, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a one-day anger awareness. I do know that they are mother and son, and that they do live together, but that would be the state's recommendation at this time due to this event just happening a couple of days ago.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor. So this is obviously significantly more complicated than the states presented, because it is a mother and a son. Miss Lee has been struggling with her child, who is a teenager, for some time. She was the one that called the police.
Now, it's always like that, right? The women, they always call the police. These old mamas always calling the police, right? Now, when they call the police, they never really call the police because they want somebody to go to jail. They call the police because the police now has to be the son's daddy. Because, see, they've lost control of him because they didn't raise him the right way, right? So they've lost control of him. So now what do? They call the police. But they don't expect anyone to go to jail, which to me is stupid. When it comes to something like this, you call the police, somebody's going to jail. And guess what? Sometimes your old mama, that somebody is going to be you. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
because he has been getting aggressive, very violent with her and other members of the family. At this time, his dog, which is a 140-pound dog, was becoming aggressive and rowdy, and she needed his help to get it under control.
Wait a minute. You got this dog in the house that you can't control. All right? 140-pound dog, that's a pretty good sized dog. I know, I got a big dog too. But any dog that I have and I can't control him, the dog don't live here. Yeah, he don't live here. So that I kind of don't understand. She's the adult. They got a dog at the house, and the only way the dog can get under control is if she go and gets her 16-year-old son. Sounds like a job for husband, son to me. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
She's a mother of 4 children, 2 of which
baby mama 4 times over.
Are babies. He would not come down from his room. She went upstairs with the dog to get him to take responsibility for his pet. He became very aggressive and shoved her down a flight of stairs.
Get out of my face, mama. But we continue.
Your Honor. She was able to gain her composure, but the dog got away. She was very frightened for the small children, so she went and entered his room. She did enter his room because it's not just an anger issue. This child has threatened suicide in the past, and it's something that she's very aware of and very scared of.
Now, what does him threatening suicide have to do with slapped him in the face? Or the dog, for that matter? What does any of that have to do with that? But we continue.
The state is charging Miss Lee with a simple battery offense, even though the statute that they cite very clearly states that in no event shall that subsection be applicable to corporal punishment administered by a parent or a guardian. Just because the state does not like that type of punishment does not make it illegal, and she should not have been charged for this. Miss
I believe the attorney is right on this one. I don't think that they can apply battery when it comes to, that's in the state of Georgia, from what I've read. I don't believe the state can apply battery when it comes to quote unquote corporal punishment, like you spank your kid or you slap your kid's face. I don't think that meets the legal criteria of battery. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Lee is a 38-year-old woman. She's a single mother to 4 children.
Of course she is. She's an old baby mama. But we continue.
She pays the bills with small side jobs so that she is able to be there with her family. She is the one that called for help. And she is beside herself not being able to be with her children. I'm not really understanding what the state is asking for when they're asking for for her to not be present in the home.
What they're asking is for her to move the hell out and let the 16-year-old have the house. That's what they're asking. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Mean that the children would go into defects custody. We would ask, Your Honor, for a signature bond and for a no further violent contact until this case is handled by the attorneys, but certainly not keep her from her own home and from her own children. Thank you, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, I just want to add that the presiding judge heard the facts and felt that this met the threshold for simple battery.
That doesn't mean it's right, Solicitor General. Just because the presiding judge says, okay, y'all should charge her, doesn't mean the law applies. Just want to put that in there, but we continue.
And not corporal punishment. And also in our report, the officer got the statement from the defendant saying that the victim stopped her from falling down the stairs, so she did not get thrown down a flight of stairs. The state was not aware of her having additional children or what the family structure was like in that home. At this time, the state is going to remain requesting no contact with the victim in this case. But I do understand the discretion of the court, Your Honor.
Yes, the judge is not going to order her to leave her own house because she got into a squabble with a minor child. Usually when they order that, the child is usually an adult. If the mother finds herself arrested and the child is an adult living in the house, then they will tell the mother she has to, live somewhere else until the child moves out, which is stupid to me, because if it's your house, you're being told that you cannot go back to your house because you got into an altercation with your kid. You got arrested, but now they're telling you you can't go back to your house as long as they live there. So what if they decide never to leave? You have to still pay your mortgage for said house, lights, water, gas. But you can't go back there as long as your damn degenerate ass offspring is still residing there. To me, that's just stupid. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Yeah, that's a tough one. A 16-year-old, I'm assuming this victim is in high school and may or may not have a job and certainly is not self-sufficient.
Hell no. He's 16 years old. He's got 3 siblings. He ain't self-sufficient. How is he self-sufficient? Where does he work? What is he, a lawyer at 16? An engineer? But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Additionally, Your Honor, there is no father present in the...
Of course there's no father. She's an old mama. There is no father. But we continue.
She's it.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question. PD right about a father, grandparent, aunt, uncle, some other relative where this minor child could go stay.
Now, I like what this judge is saying. Okay, this is her house. Her and this kid got into an altercation. Is there somewhere this boy can go? Why should she have to leave her house just because her and her son got into some type of altercation? If anything, his ass need to be getting the hell out of there because he ain't supporting the house. Makes sense to me. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
While the bond is in place, we don't have any other family members.
There is an 80-year-old grandmother, Your Honor, but she does live in the home. This family doesn't have the kind of income that would allow for multiple living arrangements.
Of course she doesn't have the income. She's got 4 kids, no husband. Her ass is broke. Yeah, she's broke. Which most of them are. Woman got 4 kids, no husband. Even if her ass got a job at Walmart some damn where, she barely scraping by. She barely feeding those kids. She ain't got a good job. They struggling. All right. And probably eating roaches every now and then. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
80-year-old grandmother in the home.
Yes.
Well, grandma's Social Security check probably helps out a little bit, but we continue.
State, have you all had a chance, and I don't know if you make a custom of talking to that victim at that age?
We have not had contact with the victim in this case.
Judge, the grandmother is actually here in our courtroom in the gallery.
Oh, really?
And Your Honor, due to the the change in circumstances or just the new information that we have received from the defense, at this time, we wouldn't be opposed to a no further violent contact, just knowing that he doesn't have anywhere else to go.
So you make this recommendation without having all the information, Solicitor General. Isn't that something? But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Okay, thank you, State. I do appreciate that. Makes my job a little bit easier sometimes, I tell you. So what we're going to do then is order that $3,000 signature bond.
The old white baby mama is getting a signature bond. As I've told y'all many times before, signature bond, you basically just sign on the line and you walk out the door. But we continue.
And I'm going to order that. Does he qualify pretrial?
No.
Okay. I will order the $3,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order no further violent contact.
Don't slap him anymore, you old mama, you. But we continue.
With the victim, LD. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I guess that's all I can do at this point. Anything else that either council want to recommend to add to any of the bond conditions? I usually say sometimes when they are minors that they will continue to go to school while they're on bond.
Yeah, but this is an adult. They just said she was 38, Your Honor.
The defendant isn't a minor in this case.
I'm sorry.
The victim is a minor.
Scratch that. Sorry, I got that backwards. I apologize with the mom.
Nothing from me, Your Honor. Thank you.
Nothing from the state.
Yeah, that will be it. That should conclude this case.
Okay, yo mama. You get to walk out of there and go back to your kid that you slapped across the face and y'all fell down and broke his nose or something. But she did get a signature bond, which is what you would usually get, depending on what your background looks like. I mean, she only had a couple scrapes. You know, I think it was driving without a license and shoplifting. So those are relatively minor charges. That's all she has. So I kind of figured Judge Mincy would give her, a signature bond. That's usually standard. If your record ain't that bad, you're going to sign on the dotted line and you're out the door. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Next, Judge, we have position 2, Mr. Brown, private attorney case.
This is 22 CR 008221J. Is that Yomond Brown, charged with 1 count of battery. Offense date is 12/16/2021. And we have private counsel Gabe Banks.
Good morning, Judge, or good afternoon, Judge.
Now, this dude here, in the top left corner, this is his case, right? Now, he has a private lawyer, okay? So obviously, he has some degree of resources. He's not being represented by the public defender. He's got his own personal attorney that he pays for, right? Now, he's in here, I believe, on some type of BS, all right? Real BS. And the BS has something to do with an old white mama, all right? But it's probably not what you think, all right? Actually, it's 2 of them. But I'm going to let this play out and let y'all see it for yourselves. So we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you.
You too. So let's see. Pretrial, what do you have?
First arrest.
First arrest? Okay.
Yes.
Now you can see It's his first arrest. So more than likely, he's probably going to get a signature bond. He doesn't have any criminal history. This is his first arrest. You already know the chances of him getting a signature bond is pretty damn good. But we continue.
All right. And Deputy Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened December 16th, 2021 at Pace Academy, located.
Now you heard that, right? Put a pin in it. This case took place December of 2021. That's a year ago. But we continue.
At 966 West Paces Ferry Road Northwest. Mileta Smith, which is Mileta Smith, stated that they were at her grandson's holiday program in the auditorium at Pace Academy when the defendant, who was her son-in-law, pushed her leg and sat on it, causing a very large bruise to her leg.
Pushed her leg and sat on it in 2021. But we continue.
Ms. Smith stated she did call the police, but did not want the defendant to be arrested at school in front of.
Here we go again. Called the police, but didn't want him to be arrested. It's the stupidest of things, right? They say, okay, I'm calling the police, but I don't want anyone arrested. So why are the police there exactly? To do social work? To be an attorney, to be a psychologist? I mean, what do you think's going to happen if you call the police? Usually when something happens and you call the police, there's a pretty good damn chance, yo old mama, someone's going to be arrested. But we continue. Bear use, Negroes. Bear use.
Her children, and was advised by the officers to file a warrant at a later time, which she did.
Now, she was told by the police, file a warrant later. Now, I say again, I repeat, this happened December of 2021. It's December of 2022 right now. But we continue.
We have spoken to Ms. Smith. She stated that the defendant and her daughter are currently going through a divorce, and she stated that the defendant has continued to harass her since this incident last year.
Okay. Now, she claims that he harasses her. I don't know if y'all are keeping up with the story, but this old mama here claims that this guy, who is her son-in-law, right? It's her son-in-law, is harassing her. Now, she called the police on him a year ago, but he's just now getting arrested. So what does that mean? That means that she decided to get this warrant sworn out recently from something that happened a year ago. Think about that. That's why he's arrested now, because they told her to file for a warrant to be sworn out at a later date. She waited a whole year. And coincidentally, during the time that her daughter is in the midst of a divorce from this man. Yeah, but we continue. Bear use, Negroes. Bear use.
She further stated that they have a T.P.O. hearing today. They had a T.P.O. hearing today scheduled for 12 p.m., and she wants no contact with the defendant. I believe I saw Ms. Smith here on the Zoom, if Your Honor wishes to sound for her. We are currently asking for a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact with Mileta Smith, stay away from...
Now look at his lawyer. His lawyer's just sitting there. He's just waiting. He's just sitting there. But we continue.
2616 Oglethorpe Circle Northwest, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. That's in large part because even though this is his first incident, according to Ms. Smith, there has been continuing contact and continuing harassment, which gives us cause for concern for influencing a witness. And that is the reason for the surety bond in this case.
Now, if that's the case, why wasn't she calling the police on him all those times? Why does she swear out a warrant to get him arrested now for an incident that happened a year ago? If the incidents have been going on since then, why is he only being arrested for what happened a year ago and not something that has happened more recently? This stinks to me, and it should to you too. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
No, nothing further from the state.
All right, Mr. Banks.
Judge, thank you. Good afternoon. On behalf of Mr. Brown, I would submit that he's been a law-abiding citizen his entire life. He's 42 years of age. He's a lifelong resident of the state of Georgia. He has one child, one minor child, who is arguably the subject of this contentious custody dispute. I will say that these allegations occurred back in December of 2021. A T.P.O. was filed back at that time, Judge, and actually a magistrate judge here in Fulton County heard the evidence and dismissed the petition.
Now, a T.P.O., temporary protection order. You hear what the lawyer's saying, that they tried to get one before and the judge dismissed it. Why? Because the judge knew the allegations were BS. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Essentially saying that the allegations were not supported by the evidence. A year later, they come and file another TPO. And Judge, our contention is that his current wife, who he's in a divorce proceeding with, and his mother-in-law are doing their very best to essentially strategically plan that they get custody of the child. And
there it is. And there it is. Because if he was doing so much, bothering you so much, harassing you so much, why are you only swearing out a warrant for something he did a whole year ago and not something that he's done yesterday, last week, last month, 6 months ago? But we continue.
Over his move for custody over a child. And so, Judge, I will simply say this. He's been law-abiding. There's no risk of him committing any additional felonies or misdemeanors for that matter. He's gainfully employed. He's the vice president of the Football Hall of Fame and has been so employed.
Vice president of the Football Hall of Fame. So this isn't just some dude, all right? This dude has a career. This dude has, things going on in his life. And his wife and her old mama are trying to screw this guy. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
For quite some time, he's an active father. There is a separation order in place right now, Judge, where he actually they're week on, 1 week off, and the child always resides at the home. And so there's been no issue until ultimately some hearings that have come up where they have strategically tried to position themselves in a better posture. But like the previous TPO, we believe that this TPO will also fall on deaf ears as well. Concerning his involvement with his child, though, he coaches all of his son's events. And so when I say this is a man who is actively involved, he not only talks the talk, but he walks the walk. I would ask for a signature bond, Judge, and that ultimately this court just reinforced that he abide by the current separation agreement. That has been working, and these allegations are old, and there has been no continuous harassment, not by him, and certainly there are two sides to every story.
Now you see the difference in how the private attorneys talk compared to the public defenders. But I guess that's why they work for the public defender's office. I guess that's why they work there. You don't have to be that good to be a public defender. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
And Your Honor, again, I would ask we sound from Letta Smith to see if the victim, wishes to speak in accordance with Marcia's law. I also wanted to give Your Honor the stay away address of 2616 Oglethorpe Circle Northwest. So we're not asking.
If I can just get clarity from the state, does the victim live at that address or does the victim live at another address?
The 2616 Oglethorpe Circle Northwest address was the address that we had on the warrant. If that is different, again, Ms. Smith can advise. So we're not asking for a stay away from Peace Academy. We're asking for a stay away from the address that was listed as the victim's address on the warrant.
Okay. Ms. Milletta Smith? I think
Yes, Your Honor.
signed on. Yes, can you turn on your camera, please?
Yes.
Okay, here comes the old mama, second from the left, right? This is the woman who allegedly he sat on her leg last year and just coincidentally decided to go down, swear out a warrant while this man and her daughter are going through a divorce. All right? She's a meddling old mama. We've seen this many, many times before. So I have to give it to some of you black folks. White people do have a tendency to do it too. As the old saying goes, white people do it too. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use. Let's listen to what this old mama has to say.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Yes, do you wish to address the court today?
Of course she does. That's why she's here. And she's going to get up here and she's going to start talking about a bunch of crap that has nothing to do with the warrant she went and freaking had sworn out. She wants to keep this man away from the kid. She's a meddling old grandmama. All right? She's not an old mama. She's an old grandmama. But we continue.
I do, please.
All right, I need to swear you in first. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, put your hand down. And so the first question that we have for you, Ms. Smith, is what is your residential address? Where do you live?
Actually, it's 2616 Oglethorpe Circle Northeast, not Northwest. That's the only difference.
Okay. And who else resides there with you?
I live by myself. My daughter, because of the nesting,
Of course she lives by herself. Who wants to be with a woman like this? Who in their right damn mind? Why you think they got so much time to be meddling in their kids' affairs, in their grandkids' affairs? They're all alone, miserable, and bored. But we continue.
will stay here on her off week out of the home.
Okay. All right. And are you in fear of Mr. Brown?
Absolutely.
Okay. And, but Mr. Brown does not reside with you. How close does he reside to you?
Their home is in Sandy Springs, but what occurs is when we're at events for my grandson, which I attend all the events, he just started coaching this year. The son is 7 years old and he had never been involved with any of his events.
Now you hear what she's saying. She goes right into talking about stuff that has nothing to do with the case. Like I said, oh, he never attends any of his events. Put a pin in that. Put a pin in it. But we continue.
Up until this year. So if you go back beyond September, he never did anything. But what happened is when we are together, he comes in my space. I was at a soccer game. I was sitting to the right of the post. He came and walked up behind me. I moved to the left of the post and I have videos to show you. He stalked me there.
No one wants to see your videos, Grandma.
I finally moved back to where I was. He came there again and came walking towards me at a fast pace, brushed my legs, brushed my arm, and walked away. Most recently, November 5th, I was
I
at,
only want to talk about this December 16th.
Yes, shut up, mom. All right, your old grandmama, you. Like I said, right into talking about stuff that has nothing to do with why we are here. Everything else except what happened a year ago. Everything else. Not one reference to why she swore out the warrant from December of 2021. Everything else, oh, he did this, he did that, he brushed me, he touched my arm, What does that have to do with what happened last year? Your old grandmama, you. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Incident. Okay. What happened on the 16th of December of last year?
I was at Pace Academy. My grandson was sitting on the aisle, my daughter in the middle, and I was in the third seat. Mr. Brown was sitting behind my daughter on the aisle seat. My daughter got up to take the grandson to the back. She placed her purse on the aisle seat. Mr. Brown got up out of his seat, came around into our aisle, moved her purse, and sat there. And I told him that she was reserving that seat. She had put her purse there. So what he did was he said, "Don't talk to me." I said, "Don't talk to me." So my daughter walked up and asked him to leave the seat. So they went back and forth. He finally got up. And so they have the seats that when you stand up, they flip up. So when I stood up, he was exiting, and I put my left leg over, it was a wooden armrest. And he comes back in the aisle, he pulls his arms back and pushes me back. So I start falling back, then my legs are straddling the armrest. So he takes his left leg and presses and sits down. I weigh 115 pounds, Your Honor. He weighs almost 300 pounds. It created, and so I hit him on the back to get him off of me. So he leaves. He texts my daughter.
You see his lawyer down there shaking his head like, Jesus, come on, lady. Now remember, she said earlier, a little while back, that this guy never goes to any of the kids' events. Sounds like he was at an event this time, a year ago. Remember, she said her daughter took the son to the back. So something tells me this had something to do with the kid. Because notice, she said the daughter came back alone, which means what? She probably was taking the kid to a play or some type of recital or something like that. And he was there by her admission. That's how he was able to sit on her leg, right? And this was December 16th. Way before she said, oh, he never comes to anything of his. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
That your mom hit me, and she said, "No, you pushed her. I saw you." And so when I got home, I did take photographs. That bruise stayed on my leg from December 16th all the way through April 25th.
Oh, God. The bruise stayed on her leg from December to April. What, when he sat on your leg, what, did he have a metal pan on his ass? This lady is lying. She's clearly lying. She's embellishing. Now just take a look at everybody who's sitting here, right? Look at the judge. The judge is like, okay. Look at his lawyer. Even look at the Solicitor General. Look at the other public attorney. Look at this public attorney, this public defender. Look at the reporter lady, the court reporter. They're like, okay, is this over yet? Is this about to be over? This is way too much. It's too much for it to be true. Even the Spanish interpreter is like, geez, I'm only here to translate for non-English speaking people. I gotta listen to this BS. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
And I have doctor's notes. I have photos that I've taken every day. It was extreme. The doctor measured, it was 8 inches long, 3 inches wide was the bruise.
All right, but let me ask you this. You don't have an occasion that requires you to be around Mr. Brown, is that correct?
Only when we go to my grandson's events.
Only when we go to my grandson's events. Now, what she wants to do, she wants to make it so this man cannot go to these events of his own son. Because with a protection order, they say, well, you got to stay, 200 yards, 300 yards, 1,000 yards, whatever it is, away from this person. So if that's granted here today, when his son has an event or a game, if grandma is there, he can't be there. See how that works? But pay attention. We continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
But you all can sit separately and be separate in those events, correct?
Exactly. I would ask that he don't come into my space.
Okay. And
look at the CO at the bottom. Even she's like, this case is ridiculous. But we continue.
Let's see. Is there any cross-examination by the state?
Your Honor, I would ask if Ms. Smith may be permitted to talk about the incidents that have occurred after this contact, because that is relevant to the Ayala.
How is it relevant when that case is not in front of the court right now, Solicitor General? Why would you want her to talk about that stuff? The judge already told her, just talk about the case that you swore the damn warrant out for. Not some gobbledygook that you claim happened between then and now. Really? But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Factor of intimidating or influencing a witness.
All right, Mr. Banks.
I mean, it sounds like she talked about everything under the sun, including
everything under the sun. See, this is why you have to have a private attorney. This is why. But we continue.
the size of her injury that she reported to her doctor. I'm not sure what else the court needs to hear regarding it, but if she wants to talk about it, I mean, I think the court is able to separate the wheat from the chaff to determine what the issue is here, and that's whether or not he's entitled to a bond.
All right, I don't want to belabor and go into a lot more incidents since this, unless again, this witness has told me that she's in fear of him and doesn't want to be around him. And I obviously will make sure to the best of my ability that they are separated, although I understand that she's the grandmother to the child in this case, and his, I guess, soon to be ex-mother-in-law. They have competing orders, I guess, in civil court, which would be Superior Court. And I think, Mr. Banks, you alluded to that. They already have an order in Superior Court, right?
They do, Judge.
Okay.
And I would just say that, I mean, while she's a grandmother, and I certainly respect that fact. I mean, I had a grandmother. I know, in speaking with Mr. Brown's family, he respects that fact, notwithstanding some of the issues that have been raised. But his rights trumped hers.
And there it is. His rights trump yours, your old grandmama, you. Your old grandmama, you. His rights trump yours. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
And frankly, to the extent that he has a right to be at his son's events, she does not.
She does not. But we continue.
And so if she doesn't want to be around him at an event, while she can certainly be there, the reality is that he should not be required to leave his son's events simply because she is present. And so to the extent that the court enters a no violent contact or just to stay away, just that they avoid each other at these events, I think that would be appropriate in this situation.
And there it is. But see, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it so that, he can't come. Because, see, grandma want to act like, her being grandma trumps his rights. Because, see, he's a man. That's how they do this. And I believe a lot of this crap grandma's just making up. She's just making it up. If you don't want to be around the man, stay the hell away from where he's at. Yeah, it might mean that you can't come to your grandson's events or his games. But guess what? Tough titty, your old grandmama, you. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Okay.
Excuse me.
I'm going to go ahead and rule if the state doesn't have anything else at this point.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to order a $3,000 signature bond.
That's right. Let him sign on the dotted line and walk out of there, Your Honor. The man has no criminal history. And grandma is swearing out a damn warrant from something that happened a year ago. If the bruise was so bad and there was so much pain and you went to the doctor and you took pictures and all this old kind of mess, why you just now swearing out the warrant? Wouldn't it have been better to swear out the warrant then, when you had this big old scar on your leg and was in so much pain and all this old other kind of foolishness? Your old grandmama, you. Grandma's full of crap, is what old grandmom is. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
And I'm going to order that signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I'm going to obviously order the defendant to stay away from 2616 Oglethorpe Circle. I don't think he has a reason to have to go there, but I will order the stay away from the victim's address.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to order that there be no further contact with Maletta Smith. Although I heard, I think there was possibly a T.P.O. pending, but they just need to stay away from each other, and I believe they can do that at these events for the grandchild. That she can sit on one end of the room and he can sit on the other.
Or old grandmama can just stay her old ass home and don't come there and shut her ass up. That's an option, isn't it? But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
So, Mr. Brown, just make sure if you go to these events for your son, these activities, that obviously you have to stay away from Miss Smith. Just do not come near her in her space, and she's going to not come into your space so that you all won't have any contact with each other. And I think that is all that I can do at this point, because I don't order anything that's in conflict with the pending divorce orders, maybe outer separation orders.
And there it is. He's going to walk on up out of there. He's going to sign on the dotted line, and that's going to be the end of it. But we continue.
Your Honor, my Zoom went out briefly. The state would request 1 day anger awareness if Your Honor hasn't already ordered that.
Of course, they got to throw that in there. Oh, you got to go through an anger class. But we continue.
Oh, the 1 day awareness course through pretrial?
1 day anger awareness through pretrial services.
Correct. I will go ahead and add that to the order.
Well, I mean, and I understand the court's order, and I don't want to, challenge it at this point. Had the court not ordered, I would simply say he's presumed innocent at this point in time, and that this event occurred over a year ago, and now all of a sudden it's being drugged back to court again.
Yes, a whole year. A whole year. Now remember, old grandma in the top row, center position, claims the bruise was horrible. She had to go to the doctor. She took pictures. So where was the warrant back then? You do it now while your daughter is going through a divorce and custody hearing with her husband? Why now, yo grandmama you? But we continue.
Through a private warrant situation and a TPO. And interestingly enough, they had a hearing today and he was arrested in front of his son, all of which he was trying to avoid. But to the extent that that's the court order, that's the court's order, Mr. Brown will abide by it.
All right. Thank you, Attorney Banks. We will keep the anger awareness course in the order for now.
Okay.
And I don't think there's anything else that I can do at this point. And so again, that's a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Thank you, Judge.
All right,
I have a question, if I may.
Yes. Yes, Ms. Smith.
How do I get notified when the actual court date is?
Well, you'll get notified. You're the one who swore out the damn warrant yesterday from something that happened 12 months ago. Yo, grandmama, you. So obviously the court's going to get in contact with you. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
So
You're listed as a witness, and Deputy Falk, the victim rather, and Deputy Falk can explain that to you.
Okay.
Ms. Smith, just like the victim advocate reached out to you today, you will be reached out to upon any additional court dates.
Yes, so you can tell more lies, yo mama. Or should I say, your old grandmama. But we continue.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go to another person.
Position 3, Bussey.
Okay. So that case is over. Very interesting. A lot more interesting than the one before it. But as you can see, man, these old mamas and also these old grandmamas are something else. Now I know a lot of times I bring y'all these old mamas and they be black broads. But there's also white old mamas and also white old grandmamas. Now, you would think that it would be different, right? But it's not, especially when it comes to split ups and divorces and separation and kids and all that kind of stuff. And old grandmama ain't got no man. So she got plenty of time to make other people's lives miserable. She's got plenty of time to be meddling in her daughter's and husband's affairs. And then there's the grandkid. Because like the man's attorney said, his rights trumps hers. But see, she's trying to circumvent that. She's trying to get out in front of it. That is why she's doing what she's doing. She wants to get out in front of it. Get him arrested, order of protection. He got to stay away from her, which means he can't go to his son's football games or his events at school if her old ass is there. You can see this coming a mile away. But luckily for him, it's not going to be the case. All he got to do is stay the hell away from her, which is something he's probably already been doing, obviously, Ergo, her swearing out the warrant from a year ago. I can't mention that enough. Because if he was bothering her so much and did so much to her, she wouldn't drag out some charge from last year to try to get him arrested, when she could have just got him arrested on something he did last week, last month, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. You see where I'm going here, folk. Old grandmama is full of crap. And I have to admit, when it comes to some of this craziness, man, white people do it too. But I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But you know what? No, we're not going to wrap this up, because I got one more thing for y'all. One more old mama. So I'm going to hit y'all in the head now with a bonus clip. Yeah, that's right. We got a bonus clip for these old white mamas. But this mama here, I believe she's Latino. And she's got a colorful one too. So I figured I'd throw this in here as a bonus for you good folk. Let's get at it. Bear use, Negroes. Bear use.
Number 20, Miss Reyes.
Okay.
Email. I got it. Thank you. Okay.
And as y'all can see, I know I'm always talking about this. The Solicitor Generals have better camera equipment now. Because remember, the Solicitor General used to always look like a video game character. They actually have better cameras now, y'all. But we continue. Bear use, Negroes. Bear use.
This is 22 CR 008227A. And that's Carolina Reyes. Charged at 1 count of battery, family violence. 2nd count, cruelty to children in 3rd degree. 3rd count, cruelty to children in 3rd degree. All with the
cruelty to children. And I feel bad for her, because this public defender here, this one in the lower right-hand corner, is the absolute worst public defender I've seen on all court dockets, in all court cases, in courtrooms, and I watched quite a few of them. This lady here, I don't know if y'all can see my pointer, but this lady here has to be the absolute worst public defender ever. And it's not even because her English is horrible. She's just a horrible public defender. So anyone that gets her, I feel for you if she's defending you. I do. But we continue. Bear use, Negroes. Bear use.
in state of December the 11th, 2022. Retrial.
She has one cycle from 2012 for theft by shoplifting. The disposition was not on docket, and nothing pregnant.
All right. ASG Select.
Yes, Your Honor. On December 11th, 2022, at approximately 8:49 a.m., Officer West was dispatched to 1817 Hemingway Lane, that's Roswell Village Apartments, where officers were already out on the scene. Officers had spoke with the defendant, Ms. Reyes, and she stated that she received a call from her brother, who stated that their mother and her boyfriend's mother, who is the victim in this case, Ms. Rodriguez, got into a verbal argument, causing the brother to take the defendant's mom home. The defendant arrived at the incident location upset and looking for Ms. Rodriguez. who is her boyfriend's mother.
Sometime today, Solicitor General, sometime today, can we get this over with? But we continue.
Ms. Reyes's boyfriend, Mr. Omar Rios, was present along with their two children, 8-year-old initials SRR and 2-year-old CRR. When the defendant walked into the apartment, she began banging on the bathroom door where Ms. Rodriguez was taking a shower. When Ms. Rodriguez came out of the bathroom, the defendant stated that Ms. Rodriguez accused the defendant of cheating on her son. The two engaged in a verbal altercation, and Mr. Omar Rios stated that he witnessed the defendant attack Ms. Rodriguez, his mother, creating bruising near her right eye.
So this old Latino mama attacked another old Latino grandmama, if I'm getting the story correct. The old Latino mama attacks an old Latino grandmama. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use. Bonus clip.
Deep scratches on her back. Omar Rios also stated that he had to pull the defendant by her hair to get her off of his mother, Ms. Rodriguez.
Absolutely he did. Get off my mama. Get off of me, mama. What's the matter with you? Get off of me, mama. Get off of me, madre. But we continue.
Mr. Omar Rios stated that the defendant escalated the situation and started the physical altercation. When officers asked if the defendant had any injuries, she looked at her and stated no, that she did not have any injuries. Ms. Rodriguez, Mr. Omar Rios, and the two children and the defendant all live together and have lived together for the past several years. Due to the nature of the incident, this being a family violence incident, them all living together and have been living together for several years, this incident also occurred just on yesterday. This incident escalated very quickly and became violent very quickly in front of two children, two minor children, 8 years old and 2 years old. So as stated, due to the nature of the offense and what we know about the cycle of violence, the state would be asking for a $6,000 surety bond total.
Now that's up there. $6,000 is up there for bond. All right. Especially being that she's a broad. They don't usually give broads this high of a bond, or should I say they don't usually recommend this high of a bond. All right. Usually $3,000, $3,500, somewhere in there. But $6,000 for a broad, that's up there. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
$4,000 on the battery family violence, $1,000 per cruelty charge, no contact with the victims and witnesses. That would be Miss Margarita Rodriguez. Margarita is spelled Margarita, and Rodriguez is spelled Rodriguez. The witness in this case, Mr. Oscar Omar Rios, and Omar Rios is spelled OMAR-RIOS. The state would also ask for third-party transfer for the shared children that she and the witness, Mr. Omar Rios, share, and one-day anger awareness if Your Honor is inclined to impose that as well. Nothing further at this time. We would also ask for a stay away from the incident location as well.
Oh boy, here we go. Here comes the worst public defender in the world. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
All right, PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, Ms. Reyes she has been here in Georgia for 26 years. She's only 28 years old. And her child, I believe, her children are 1 year and 8 years old, according to my client. And Your Honor, she does not have any employment. For the last 2 years, she has been a stay-at-home mother to take care of 2 children of Margarita Rodriguez's son, who should be responsible for those 2 children and being a good co-parent. Anyway, she is qualified for public defender's service, so our office will be continuously representing her. And her education was up to 11th grade, and then she completed GED. We would like to request we have no objection to stay away.
Now, just from the few minutes that you've been listening to this public defender, would you want her representing you? I repeat, would you want her representing you? But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
From that incident location, since that is the children's father's house, which is divorced from the mother, the complaining witness. So, however, my client does not want to stay there. She wants to move out and stay with her own mother and brother because of the conflict and tension in the household. My client was defending herself, and she feels very unfairly treated by this situation. We would like to request for a signature on bond, since this is her first incident that is involved in any kind of violence whatsoever. And also,
I told y'all, this is the worst public defender in the world. That is why she works for the public defender's office. If you have this lady defending you, I must tell you, you are screwed. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Yes, that's all it is. And we would like to request for a signature on bond for this case. Thank you.
Honor, the state would argue that, just according to the report, what started all of this was a verbal altercation that the defendant's mother and the victim in this case, they got into an altercation. The defendant was informed that her mother was taken from the location, taken away. And so that incident could have been resolved at that point, but the defendant took it upon herself to go to the location and start another altercation, and it eventually turned violent. So I just want I would like the court to consider that as well. Thank you.
Seems like the Solicitor General is having a hard time getting it out on this case too. But we continue.
Your Honor, I would like to mention that she resided there. She has resided there. That is her place, her children, 2 children, and their father's place. Your Honor, the mother is actually not supposed to be there because she's divorced from her father's father. She has another boyfriend. Indeed. I don't understand why she is still there. So, but anyway.
I don't understand why you're defending people. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use. Look at the judge. The judge is like, oh my God, I wish this lady just get it out and shut her ass up. And look at the look at the court reporter lady. Look at the freeze frame. She's like, oh my God, I can't even write down what this damn lady is saying. I cannot believe she passed the bar exam. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Yeah, we don't want to get into that detail.
Okay.
See the judge hesitating. She don't know what to think. She got this crazy old Latino mama who done jumped on and beat up another Latino old grandmama. The damn public defender, you can barely understand what the hell she talking about. The solicitor general, she's having a hard time getting it out. The judge is just befuddled right now. She don't know what to do. She probably just want to turn her camera off and go home. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
I'm going to give the $6,000 signature bond through the jail.
Oh, but she did get the old signature bond. But everybody did today, right? And I keep telling y'all, I can't say it enough. When you get the signature bond, you sign your name on the dotted line and you walk on out the door. But we continue.
Which will be $4,000 on the battery and $1,000 on each of the cruelty charges.
Now, I'm assuming they're charging this old Latino mama with cruelty to the children because she fought the old grandma in front of the kids, because they didn't make any allegations that she had did anything to the children, but she was fighting the children's grandmother in front of the kids. That's where the cruelty to children came in from. And of course, there's 2 kids, so there's a case for each one of them. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Margarita Rodriguez. I say victims and the 2 children. What was it, SR and CR? I may have those initials incorrect.
It's SRR and CRR.
Okay.
Your Honor, they are my client's children.
Now, I know I'm always talking about how the people who are being represented, the defendants, just need to shut their ass up. But the lady has received a signature bond, right? So she's getting out. This is one time where the lawyer just need to shut her ass up. This is one time where the lawyer needs to stop talking. But we continue.
And the father, since he is not actually married and he has not actually gone through any kind of legitimation and has not been paying for any child support, he has no custody over those children. So those children have to be with either my client or my client's mother.
And Your Honor, the state did initially recommend a third-party transfer.
Thank you, Your Honor. That would be awesome.
Yes, she didn't say anything about the children. The Solicitor General said nothing about the kids. She didn't say she had to stay away from the kids. They did charge her with cruelty to the kids, but they're not requesting that she stay away from the kids. So like I said, the damn public defender need to just shut her ass up at this point. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
Minor children.
And so we will ask for that third-party transfer for any visitation with the children.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so with the victim, we still need to have no further contact, right?
Yes, Your Honor. That is totally fine.
And then we don't need the stay away.
The state would recommend the stay away, Your Honor. The victim lives at that location, and I would argue that the victim or the defendant in this case does have somewhere else to go, seeing as though her brother escorted her mother from that home, like took her to another house. So I would ask if the court could ask the defense if the defendant has somewhere else to go. But at this time, the state would be recommending a stay away from that incident location as well, because the victim does reside there.
Yeah, that's pretty standard. You know, you get into a fight, like I told y'all earlier, you get into a fight somewhere, They're going to tell you to stay away from there if the other person lives there. Now, from what I understand, she lives there too. But according to what the Solicitor General was just saying, that, you know, she has somewhere else to go because she went somewhere else. So what she'll probably do is she'll probably go ahead, take the kids and go somewhere else, because that's usually how it's going to work, right? Because she hasn't been ordered by the court to stay away from the kids. So she's probably, this old mama is just going to take the kids and, you know, go like to her mother's house or something like that. But we continue. Fair use, Negroes. Fair use.
We have no objection, Your Honor.
No objection?
No
Okay.
objection.
Okay. So then the stay away from, is it 1817 Hemingway Lane?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on pond. And I think that would be it. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your Honor, would you be inclined to order a one-day anger awareness?
Gotta throw that in there.
No, not since it's through jail. I won't do it.
Understood, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
And that concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Have a good one.
Yeah, that concludes this here bonus clip, man. I just wanted to throw this one in. You know, this was actually a bonus clip. I wasn't even going to put it in, but I said, what the hell? This old mama here, like I said, beat up on an old grandmama. I guess the old grandmama, according to what they said, the old grandmama accused her of stepping out on her son. Once again, an old grandmama meddling in her son's affairs, her offspring affairs, which I think is absurd. What's going on with your children, as far as their relationships, their adults, let them deal with it. If your damn son's wife is cheating on him, guess what? Let him deal with it. If your daughter's husband is cheating on her, let her deal with it, man. Don't you get in between it. Don't. They're adults. Let them settle it. Mind your damn business. Mind your business. Because when you don't mind your damn business, what you become is one of these old grandmamas. Sit your old miserable lonely ass down and let your kids live their life. Yeah, they may bump their heads on a few rocks, but they're adults. That's what being an adult is. Stop trying to raise your kids after their ass is grown. And the same thing goes for this case here. It's the same old thing. Old grandmama meddling and messed around and got her ass whooped in the process. Old Latino grandmama got her ass whooped by an old mama. But, like they always say, Latino people do it too. But yeah, man, we're going to wrap it up, man. I appreciate y'all coming through, man. As always, I don't take your good folks lightly, man. I never have, and I never will. You got my word on that. But that's all. So, I will leave you good folk with 3 words. You know, like I always do. Open your mind. Peace, folk. These old mamas. Mama. only from T.P.O.T.